With the 158 series, another throttle position sensor. This happens to fit a Toyota, and we actually are able to get this to the company that supplies Toyota. As you can see, there is a Toyota name. It gives you the manufacturer's name. Again, we don't have any secrets here at Beck Arnley. We're going to show you and do the best we can to fulfill the needs of the technician and give you the proper parts. So in this particular instance, we don't get a box. That's okay. We got the name, and we'll put that in the box for you. Got a map sensor. Interesting little nomenclature. You'll see the Mitsubishi emblem on here because it's Mitsubishi Electronics. Big company in Japan, supplies a lot of electronic components to the manufacturers over there, much like in the United States where Ford, Chrysler, GM buys from some of the same manufacturers as well for their needs. Same thing happens in Japan. In Japan, though, they actually put the Mitsubishi emblem on the product. So that's a unique thing that we don't see in this country. But again, we can give you the original equipment part. So we move, well, got one more. I got a fuel pressure regulator. In this instance, they actually put Beck Arnley Corporation number on the box for us. Okay, and so then, made in Japan, good for customs purposes because we import. Put the part number on here, open it up. This has the Mazda emblem and the Mazda part number right on the unit, so it's as if we were getting it from Mazda. Works out really well for the program, and again, instills confidence in the technician from the standpoint of the part that he's getting or she's getting to fix that vehicle. And it all fits nice and good in a Beck Arnley package, again, selling our brand, support of the program. This is one more sensor. This happens to be for a Hyundai application where we're actually able to buy it from a manufacturer that supplies to Hyundai. So we actually can put it in that package. Much like the Nissan part, if we can get it in the bag, we'll put it in the bag and keep it there. And that way we just pass it on. No different than what we've done on the Nissan, but there are instances, as I showed you with the Toyota, where we don't get the bag, so we got to go ahead and stick it in our box. But most of your technicians will recognize the markings as well as the other identification marks that are on these units. So we're leaving the 158 series, and we jump right to 171, 172. Points and condensers, we still have some of those. There's still some of those vehicles running around that need points and condensers. 173 and 174, your rotors and your caps. Our 173 are rotors, the 174 are caps. We will go ahead and, this is a BMW application where we actually can give you identical parts. The one thing you want to look for on these ceramic caps, you want to make sure that they shave the bottom because it's a mold, okay? And you want to be sure that that bottom is shaved to fit properly and square on the distributor. So that's a key element on these ceramic caps. The other thing that we do is we source these from Germany for our European applications, and on the Asian applications, they still come from Japan. Move into 175, 175 being our ignition wire and also our coil boots, and I'll cover coil boots in one moment, but I want to talk to you a little bit about our ignition wires. This is an application that's a 6-cylinder, and I'm going to give you only 3 wires. I shouldn't say my team is going to give us 3 wires. And it's because it's a waste spark system. It's called a hybrid ignition system because you have a coil that fires 2 cylinders. So this particular 6-cylinder has 3 coils and 3 ignition wires. What I'd like to do is show you that you really got to pay attention on wires attributes because you really have to have, there's a hole at the top of this sleeve, and I'll try to show you that hole because you need to vent the air that's inside of this cylinder because this fits down on a valve cover, it seals it, so you still have to have a way for moisture and air to come out, and that's what that vent cap does. It allows for moisture to be released as well as air. Otherwise, you could end up having an explosion to where this would actually just pop off. and you don't want that to happen. So you got to make sure that you vent it properly. So this is the wire set that we use. These actually get attached to a coil, and they get attached via a connector. And we used to put connectors on the end of the boots, but we've ended up losing them because in packaging they came out from the box. So we decided to put them in a bag, and it just made a lot more sense, and we're not losing any more, and they fit perfectly where they need to be. The other thing that we did is we put a wire separator in every wire set we sell. It costs 15 cents. It just makes it sense because I don't know if anybody has ever had to experience going to an original equipment dealer and buy a wire separator. I did. $22 later, I was in shock. So knowing in the business I'm in and what I can do to help the technician and the consumer, let's just put a 15-cent wire separator in there and let's just help them out because these things happen. And we also give you the dielectric grease for installation. I already spoke about what we do in the product department about the alleged defectives. We were getting a lot of these back written on this box flap that says, not enough wires. I have a 6-cylinder. You only gave me 3 wires. Okay. So what we did was we put an instruction sheet in the box and we call it the hybrid coil on plug ignition wire set and explained exactly why you're only getting 3 wires in this or 2. Just depends on the application. You could have 2, you could have 3. But just something to explain why you don't have a full 6 wires in this box. And this has actually gone a long way to help cut down on the comebacks. All of our ignition wires in the 175 series. I'm going to cover one more item on the 175 series, but I'm going to include it in the 178s when I get there. The next line would be glow plugs. We have glow plugs, and glow plugs are actually becoming more popular as diesels come back, which they are. And then we move into the 178s, which will be coils. So we see an awful lot of coil on plug today. Got 2 tags. This means that I'm actually purchasing the original sample came in. I was able to find out, or our product manager was able to find out where this came from, and now we're actually able to source it directly from original equipment. That's why it's got 2 tags. We want to, because again, OE part matches vendor's part. So that way it works in our sample parts file library. The other thing that we've noticed too is that some of these boots come off. And there's a spring inside this boot. And a lot of times, just based on moisture, heat, or the voltage that's going through here, these springs tend to break. The coil is still fine. All you have to do is replace the boot. So we will sell you the boot separately. Nice thing about this is that the consumer can save a lot of money, but the installer can then try to sell the consumer an additional job that's needed on their vehicle to bring it up to where it needs to be. So they actually are able to service one side, but maybe also service another part of that vehicle that they didn't think they could. So it's a nice added feature and opportunity. And also, not every original equipment dealer carries these boots, so that you want to be aware of as well. And these boots are in the 175 series, and the coils in the 178. 175 being ignition wires. We thought that this would fall right in line with the ignition wires. And closing out engine management, we have the 180 series, which is our cam and crank sensors. This is a crank sensor. Also, again, as I talked about with that earlier sensor, the Mitsubishi emblem. There it is again. It's on everything that you get from these people. But it signifies original equipment. So we're good with that. The technician's good with that. That's what they like to see. And so we're going to actually be able to give you that exact same thing. We'll give you that emblem, give you the part, everything matches identically, just like we want to. And again, there's that tag, because everything is tagged in our library. There's that OE number, application specific, so we make sure it fits. Finally, another crank angle sensor. This one happens to have 2 logos on it. It's got the Mitsubishi logo on it, but it also has the Nissan. So Nissan actually is sharing this part with Mitsubishi Electronics, or should I say Mitsubishi Electronics is allowing Nissan to share it with them by sharing their logos. So that way there's dual logos. But again, the key in this is the fact that it fits specifically to that Nissan application, and it will match exactly what came off the vehicle for the technician. That's a brief overview of our engine management program. Again, you start off with the 151s, mechanical fuel pumps, 152 electrical fuel pumps, and then it goes into 155 reman injectors, all the way up to 180. So there's a lot of categories that are in engine management. It's a very deep line for us at Beck Arnley. It's also a very popular line on the technician level because you have a lot of items that are here that are being diagnosed today in the shop. So I hope that I've given you enough attention to the detail that we've done, and remember, application specific, looking for ways to help the technician with enhancements as I showed you with the fuel pumps, and then also things that we want to do on the comeback trail so that we make sure that nothing comes back that shouldn't because of something that we didn't do properly on the product management side. We checked that as well, as in the pumps that we did many, many years ago. And then also this fuel injector and the seal. We saw that happening, we fixed it, we corrected it, and we're good to go now. So I hope that I've given you some good confidence to trust the Beck Arnley brand name and the engine management program, and we look forward to helping you.